Welcome to Orb Crown, a fantasy warfare mod for Strategic Command. In this video, we'll look through the early turns as the allies, and by early I mean from the fall of Watersbend. So far in the campaign, I have got to the point where the Dreadworm has captured Watersbend and the Mithril Scepter, which has caused ripples throughout the countries that are nearby and cause concern amongst the giants of Maelstrom and the elves of Beagwood. I've used minimal research so far for both sides, but it will now be time to start investing in some of that as well. As an experiment, Guartenheim has attacked the Silk Sultanate to see how that would go. Not normally done. You'd normally wait until Mul'Kan and perhaps the Silk Sultanate were pretty close to mobilizing themselves. The Golden Khanate is penetrating deep into the ancient lands. I'm using normal diplomacy, just the usual, and it's version 0.3, the latest for download. So this is where we find ourselves at the beginning of the turn. Ang Nord is moving forward. Goodrich has not yet been taken by the forces of Draka. If we have a scroll out, you will see the setup as it is at the moment. Now straight away we have these guys up here, the Giants of Maelstrom, the Storm Giants, who see that Draka, a dragon, a great ancient red dragon, has taken control of an artifact of great power. So they are immediately concerned about that and have sent, or will send in a moment, a troop of storm giants who will cause huge damage, but they're only one unit. In Mul'Kan over here, the forces of Guartenheim have attacked the Silk Sultanate, which is an ally of Mul'Kan. So that is an interesting experiment to see how things go. Down here in the south, in the ancient lands, the Golden Khanate has predictably invaded. It has not yet taken this port here, but it will very shortly. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the things before we actually do any movement. Have a look at the research. As I said, I am using minimal research so far. So these ones here that are already underway are the ones that Ang Nord gets automatically in the game. Now, of course, as per normal, you can sell those off for half the price, but I have elected to keep them because they're all fairly important kinds of research. But I haven't added any new research to this in this particular campaign. Ang Ford, same deal, has a number of different research chits in place. The Ancients have only a couple, and Mul'Kan has charge in place, and it's already got one level of armor. The Tribal League over here, I actually put a chit into invasion because that is absolutely essential for the Tribal League to be able to function properly in the campaign at all. Alright, so that's the research that we've got. If we have a look at diplomacy, there's only 2 active countries. So we have Ang Nord. At the moment, they don't have any chits in anything. They can't afford to. They're fighting for survival at this stage. The only one they've got is one in Angford, which is a minimal amount, and it comes about automatically because Angford and Ang Nord are allied, closely aligned. The Ancients, I have already put 2 chits into Chinwa and Sanai because these are the guys that you want to get online as quickly as you possibly can so that they can threaten the flank of the Golden Khanate as they attack into your lands. So straight away while I'm here, I'm going to put another one in, both of them, and that'll do for diplomacy. So let's go back up here to these giants because I tend to forget them, and I'm going to move them straight away because I don't want to spend too much money and not be able to afford the transport. And I'm going to bring them down here to support Prince Ahmed in Donsborough. Now I know that there are no mobilized forces around that area, so I have nothing to worry about when it comes to actually moving them through the seas. Normally I would be scouting ahead, trying to make sure that those transports, especially of something so expensive as a giant unit, is not going to be taken by surprise by some Viking longship sitting in the way. So I know that that's not going to be the case, and I'm able to move them straight away. Okay, let's scroll in a little bit here. Now I know that there's not a lot on the board at the moment in terms of forces. These guys up here in the keep, they can be annoying. They will fall, but I'm going to reinforce them just to see if they can hold out for a little bit longer. I'm going to reinforce Amund so that he's up to full health and got his full complement of officers around him, and also the veterans here from Guildford. You can see that's taken me down to 7 points. That doesn't leave me much. I might be able to put some research, upgrade some research in these, but no, 7 points is not enough to do anything. So I'm just going to move some of these guys up a little bit closer, put Crystallis into Leuven, and that's it for those guys. Looking at King Amist, well, look, he's not doing much at all. I'm just going to reinforce the Bishop of Huntington, who at least has some idea of what's going on and is mobilizing his forces as quickly as he possibly can. This is in keeping with the story of King Amist himself. He is an aging king and is going progressively more senile and paranoid as the years go by, and he even feels that his son Amund is a threat to him, and that's why he's not mobilizing as quickly as what he could. Pressure is being placed on him by the nobles, but not enough to sway him at this stage. Alright, let's go down to see what the ancients are up to. At this stage I'm going to reinforce this militia over here, and I've got a reasonable force in place here. The dwarves have moved up from Braun Anvil. I have a leader here which I need to get up to speed. That will be essential to being able to reinforce these units here if they get attacked. I'm going to move force march this militia down to the south. These guys are not going to be able to force march, they're too tired already. These ones will, because they're starting off in a town, and move their leader in place. The idea is that I'm going to move them down here to this port and be on the guard in case, when Imhotep finally mobilizes, which is likely to do, whether the adversary player will try to move up through here. Coming up, if the adversary player wants to come through the center, that's a bit harder because the desert is there, the fortifications block his way. Same going across this way. Normally that wouldn't happen until Nova Spes is also mobilized coming from the east. Alright, so that's about it for the ancients. They've only got 90 points left. I'm going to perhaps move these ships, because as a 10-point port, that means that the ships can be reinforced up to, or refitted up to full strength. The other 5-point ports only allow the ships to be refitted up to 8 strength. Okay, over to Mul'Kan. Now I'm moving all of these guys up because nothing happens in the south for quite some time unless the adversary player is particularly sneaky, but I do need to get up here to reinforce the Silk Sultanate. So I am going to do that, move this leader up here, move this militia into place, force the light cavalry to move north. They have generally a better field of vision, as you know, being adept at scouting. So they're not going to be much use in terms of fight, but they will be in terms of looking out. And I'm going to move this militia into place in the capital, the northern capital. These ones here, they're forced marched. Not sure what a militia would think about being forced marched, especially so far away from home, but these guys, you know, they're hardy, they've been trained well, and they've got their commanders prodding them with the pointy end of their swords. So we'll move these guys out as well. And this fortification here, I'll put a garrison, a militia in there next turn, because I don't have any threat from the west at the moment. They're only on 71%, even though it's not too bad. Excuse me. And oh, hang on, we have 379 points. At this point, 379 points is going to allow you to do a little bit of research, but I'm going to have a look at what we can actually buy at this stage, and you'll see there's 2 elite units that the Mul'Kan armed forces can raise, and at the moment they're going to be more useful than research. So I'm going to purchase one of those, and that's all I can get. Going across to the Tribal League, I'm moving into place to eventually attack Xantu. Attack straight through here. Usually that's not too difficult, even though by the time I have the forces in place ready to go, it is the time of the year when there's a lot of rain and mud, so it does slow things down a bit. But they have 324 points, so I'm going to get this elite unit. They only have one, but they also have a giant unit, so they can purchase those a bit later on. So I'm going to take that now, close that down. Now this is the bit that I often forget. I'm going to scroll out and make sure that I've moved everything, because and just as well I did, because as so often happens, I forgot these ships over here which I was moving around to the Ang Ford naval bases. So they're going to go full sail. Still going to take them a little while to go, but there's no mobilized enemy along the route, so they should safely make it to Port Urgan in Calm Water Bay up here in the next few turns. I think that's all I need to do for now, so I'm going to end this turn. Yes, I do. I do really want to end it. Alright, so this is a decision that King Amist of Angford needs to make. Sir Martin of Shrewsbury stands before King Amist of Angford, pleading for assistance on behalf of the King's son, Prince Amand of Angnord. So far, Angnord has only been assisted by arms smugglers who have brought in weapons and armour to help us, but now we are in dire need of your Majesty's benevolence. My lord begs you to send aid from your treasury to help us defend our eastern lands, your eastern lands. Will you send much needed funds to Angnord, or keep your treasury filled? Alright, so this is an important decision, because what is going to happen is that if you say yes at this point, Angford will lose 50 gold pieces each turn, and that will be given to Angnord. So they effectively lose 500 gold pieces while Angnord gets 500 pieces. Now, of course, Angnord needs it right now, so that is a reasonable request, but it means that there is not going to be much in the treasury for Angford to build up its own forces. If you say no, there is a small 1,000 point national morale reduction, and that's because the king tries to justify his action to the nobles who think that he is not doing the right thing. Alright, so in this case I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say, alright, I'm going to send aid to the north. Alright, so now we have the mobilization of the nobles of Donsborough and the militia. Cannon fodder. Leadership has developed up to 39%, so that's good. Also charge, excellent. Mul'Kan is a cavalry country, or uses a lot of cavalry, so that'll be coming in handy. And you can see up here that arms smugglers are bringing in bringing in weapons to the value of 50 gold pieces. Taxes coming in to the value of 50. Recalling the veterans has dropped us 50, and the gift from Angford, which you can see is being subtracted from their account down below, is also helping us a lot. So 248 gold pieces at this stage is not bad at all. The next turn is ready to go. Let's have a look at what the adversaries did. It looks like the Steading Hill Giants have joined, and Draka is determined to take Goodrich out. Brings in his elite and then takes the town. Okay, so they've hit us with their big air force, their giant eagles or rocks or whatever they happen to have, and have attacked the port of Donsborough. Now that is going to mean that the supplies that are coming through that convoy won't be anymore. You notice that they took Xander's Keep as well in the replay. Alright, so the Golden Khanate seems to be going quite deep into the ancients at this stage. Alright, not a huge amount. Alright, we lost an infantry unit, port was damaged, and we lost Xander's Keep. Alright, Transmoridonia has moved towards the adversary's 11%, as they will, as closely aligned with Guartenheim. Alright, we will go straight up to these guys here. Now they're marshalling quite a decent force now, so the question becomes, how quickly do I attack? I can attack straight away without upgrading. That might be the best way to go, but I tend to, as a cautious sort of a commander, to upgrade them. Now I've got 253 points there. I could also buy another veteran, but they're not going to be on the scene for quite some time, so I don't think that's the way to go. What I'm going to do is definitely upgrade these elite units as much as possible, and the Storm Giants, get them as tough as possible, because we are going to be attacking Watersbend very soon to try and retrieve it from the Dreadworm. And what are these guys on? Just have a look. All right, 81%, Mittelheim's on 81%. It's not going to take very much longer before they mobilize, so I think with 33 points, gold pieces, I should be able to, yes, I can at least upgrade them a little bit. Now, I don't anticipate that they are going to last long. They never do. So, but I do want them to last a little while. I have tossed up the idea of, what about just giving up Courland? What about just retreating them back here so that they can get behind the line and fight with Princess Crystallis and not be surrounded and destroyed? That might be a good option, but so far I have decided to fortify I should say, Courland as long as possible. Once Mittelheim does actually mobilize, the longer I hold on to that, the worse their national morale. They lose 500 points every turn. It might be 250, I have to check that, but they lose national morale points every turn that I hold this once they are mobilized. Alright, that's it for them. Now I'll go down and have a look at what's going on in Angford, and because they are sending most of their gold pieces into the war effort in Angnord, they have nothing to spend themselves. The Ancients have got 281 gold pieces. Now I can reinforce some things, or I can buy a veteran unit. or purchase a veteran unit. I think I might be able to do both. So if I if I reinforce them, then I still have 276. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's all I'm going to do, just until I have actually purchased the veterans, who will turn up in a little while. But I think my forces should be able to hold out for long enough. All right, looking around here, I will put some more into this fleet here. I only get 2 strength. That's all right. And that's all I really need to do with those guys at the moment. I think I'll put these into the fort here, continue to move these forces down here, force marching where I can. They won't be able to. And just checking on the situation, pretty normal. Okay, going across to Mul'Kan. Oh good, I won't forget them this time. Let's move these ships closer to Angford. Around they go through the Vorpal Strait. And that's it for them. Alright, now I am going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to try to create a huge armada of the willing and send all of my ships through to Angford. They won't mobilize for a while and won't be able to make use of their ships. But having this fleet up there, hopefully I can do some either damage or annoy the countries like Potentia and Andania, who will be mobilizing in the not too distant future. Okay, oh, missed one. At the very least, they'll be able to blockade the ports that they have available. To blockade. Okay, we're moving these guys. I noticed that the Guartenheim did not attack towards the capital Zara, so I anticipate that's because they have found them too strong, or they're having trouble with supply, which is quite possible. Like I said, this attack was an experiment, or is an experiment, and so it might fail, but you don't find out if it's going to fail unless you try. All right, 223 points I've got to spend. I could put it into some research, and I reckon I will. I'll go up here to research and put it into, like I said, they've already got armor, so I'm going to put it into weapons. Get things started with that. Down to the Tribal League, and there is not much to see there either. Just getting into position. 73 points is not enough to do anything with that. Scroll out, have a look to make sure that I've done everything. These guys can move, can't they? So we'll put them down a little bit closer. These guys will probably fall next turn. And I think that is that. Okay, I'll see you on the flip side. Oh, well, better have a look and see if there's any messages first. All right, here we go. Forgot about this one. Complete warship or influence the dwarves. Now, I'm not going with a diplomatic approach this time. I am using all the non-diplomatic options for this particular run through. Alright, so the Lord Admiral and the Lord Councillor have two ideas. One of them is to complete the warship Warspite, which will appear straight away, or to approach the Dwarf Kingdom with to try and persuade them. Looking at the notes here, you'll see the warship will appear in Donsborough. It's going to cost me 200 gold pieces in total. So that's the one that I'm going to go with, and I'm going to build the ship. Warspite has been launched. There it is. Now it's a little bit dangerous there because at this particular time, good, Angford has moved towards the Allies 12%. Sinai has moved towards the Allies 13%. This is good. The increments are decent without being instantaneous. Weapons has gone up for Angnord, I believe. So looking at our balance sheet here, we're still getting 50 from the arms smugglers. We're losing 50 because we've recalled the veterans from their farms and so forth. We're getting 50 from Angford, and we're losing 50 for completing the warship. And Angford is losing 50 in gifts, leaving it with only 15. So it's not going to be able to do much for quite some time, but luckily for it, it's not really threatened at this point either. I imagine the adversaries have taken the port city of Goodrich, but let's see what else they did. Right, the next adversaries replay. Guartenheim is still not attacked Silk Sultanate. Drucker's air force continues to pound away at the port of Donsborough. Looks like the defenders of Holtus put up a much better fight than usual, but inevitably they fell. And the Golden Khanate takes that port and its fortification and over to us. Lost a few units, but nothing of any great significance. Right, well, let's go up and have a look at how these guys are going here. I think it might be time to launch a bit of an attack. I'm not going to probably be able to attack to start off with, but I will be able to get into position. I'm going to throw everything at these guys before I forget. I'm just going to upgrade Corlan there and also Guildford. Don't think that they're any threat at this stage, but you can't be too cautious. Right, let's move. Sending the elites, or whatever I can get up to have a bit of a look ahead. The Vikings are there in the castle. That's unusual. They're probably the weaker units. I guess his elite units are somewhere there, though. I wonder if it's worth having an attack. Oh, I can get 3 things in there. All right, definitely going to attack. And as quite often happens, I haven't actually assigned leaders. Looks all right. Okay, so we'll send up the elites. 4 points. That's good. That's really good. Oh, didn't lose anything. That's exceptional. So now they take out the Vikings. They're not going to be able to get into into the castle, but that's all right because these giants are going to be able to whack Rothos, the leader, very, very hard. That's where their elite is, ready to attack on the next turn. But I tell you what, this attack has been extremely successful. More successful than I would have imagined normally. And I'm going to upgrade Amund and send Crystallis a little bit closer, because taking that castle should be really difficult, and I don't think that the adversary's player, whoever he is, must be an idiot, of course it's me, has not really reinforced that very well at all. Okay, I'm going to put these guys just in a sort of guarding position there to guard those ports, and that's it for Angnord. Angford, yep, once again, no gold, can't really do much. Supporting the war effort of his son has really reduced the treasury of the king. Down to the ancients, and we see that they're still holding here. I need to get this leader up so that he can actually do something useful and support this defense here if it needs to be supported. I'm going to increase refit that ship there, because eventually these convoys are going to start operating for the adversaries. They are sitting on Potentia is on 67, and Dania is on 86, so it's not far off coming online. It's already got a convoy active at the moment because it's got enough mobilization to trigger that, but because it's not mobilized yet, I can't actually interdict that convoy, but I can get in position. So I'm going to put this guy into raiding mode and send him just a bit closer. I'm not going to full sail it because that will use a point of supply. Just cruise on up to Refuge Bay, have a bit of a look around, getting ready to move off to interdict the supply. Moving these forces, continuing to move these forces, going to force march down there, force march to here. The leader can go into the city there. The rest of it looks like it's pretty right, and over to the Tribal League. Nothing to do at that point either, except for the same reasons as for the Ancients, start to move these ships into position ready to cut off the convoys as they activate. I'll scroll out, and again, see, this is why I've got to scroll out at the end of every turn, because I have forgotten to move my ships. I'm going to get the Warspite around to join this Armada of the Willing. When it actually forms. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to get to Calmwater Bay before any adversary countries mobilize, and thus they will be quite safe. And they definitely will. Of course, the problem becomes, or is, that Angford has got no gold in its treasury, so refitting its ships is kind of beyond it at the moment. But that's okay. Eventually, Amherst will see sense and do something about it. Alright, Mul'Kan will continue to... Oh, look, there's no way. There's no way that Guartenheim is going to be able to get through here. Chances are they're going to see that fairly soon. And, ooh, where did you come from? What have we got here? I'm playing this hot seat against myself, but I completely forgot that I'd moved that into that position there. But that's okay, it's all part of the fun. And we'll continue to move this leader up here. Still can't force march. Now, Transmoridonia is on 86%. That is going to join the war very, very soon, probably next turn, in fact. Alright, scrolling back out again. I think I've done them all. Alright, that's it. Let's see if there's any options or messages. Weapons development for Mul'Kan, good, that's moved along. And Angford and Angnord continue to gain in gold pieces. Alright, let's see the counterattack that's pretty much inevitable around Watersbend. There's militia held out. Okay, so the Giants are going to do quite a bit of damage to those guys who retreat. Quite sensibly, really. Right, now the Storm Giants are going to cop it from the Death Cult. And Draka has attacked the other elites. Sensibly, the Giants retreated. But on their way south, they were caught Okay, now let us have a look. General Uthor, the Storm Giant leader, is heading back to Maelstrom. His Storm Giants, not many of them would have actually been killed, but they have ceased to exist as a functioning unit. Right, well, we've got 3 countries that are preparing for war: Angford, Vittelheim and Andania. So it's hitting the fan basically at the moment. Since the screen has put me in that position, I think I will move my ships before I forget about them again, and we'll put them up into Calmwater Bay. Now, Angford is not yet mobilized, so its ports are not actually open to foreigners, even those from Ang Nord, but that won't last much longer. Let's get this guy down as well. Now, it's quite interesting to me as I look at this that Mul'Kan is still not mobilized, and yet it is fighting against Guartenheim. I might have to look into that, not sure why that is actually happening. Alright, well, we'll start up here in the north, and we're going to take back Watersbend. Well, we're going to try anyway. Let's see how we go. Alright, these guys can't get very far now. They're properly allocated. Let's see if I can allocate those. They're probably out of range. These guys up here, yeah, they're out of range. Not to worry. Just not to worry. I want to get rid of the Death Cult first. So I'm going to go in here and finish them off quite handily. Pity I don't get my second attack, but c'est la vie. Let's move into Watersbend. I'm going to send the elites in first. Ugh, not going to do much damage, are they? That's a pity. Alright. See if I can soften them up a little bit first. Guess should do it. Not really. I think I'm going to lose those guys if I keep them there, so I'm going to swap them out and leave them there. I could attack. It's 2-2, but I want to make sure that I've got the best chance of actually surviving in the town, in the city, I should say. Okay, I'm going to move my leaders up a little bit so that they can stay in range. The militias could be useful, so I'll force them to march up there quickly. That's about it here. 129 gold pieces is not enough to do anything meaningful, so moving on to Angford. Got quite an armada gathering in the bay, and so I think what I might have to do, 45 gold pieces. Now I really need, before I worry about the navy, I need to get some army units up. Moving over to the ancients. Just a bit of movement, I think. Move these guys out, move that down, force march him, and move the leader. Like I said, I wanted this guy to be able to support this defense over here. So a little bit more reinforcement. 305 left, so that means I'm going to purchase one of their elite units, the Immortals. Purchase them. They'll appear at some stage. Over to Mul'Kan, moving the leader up slowly. Oh, finally can do a bit of force marching. Now, can I attack here? Ooh, it looks a bit dodgy to me. Alright, I'm going to move the leader out because otherwise he's going to be in trouble. Move him in. Oh yeah, that's alright. Those giants are going to regret actually coming out that far down. Okay, so this is what the issue is. Because the Guartenheim is attacked early, Mul'Kan needs to have an activation take place, or at least something that's going to mobilize them, because even though Guartenheim can attack them, they can't attack back. That's really quite strange, but anyway, we shall continue, and hopefully it won't cause too much of an issue, because they're on 80, what are they, Mul'Kan is on 88% at the moment, so they'll probably mobilize fairly soon, but I will need to fix that. So I just made a note about that, because they're not mobilized, so they can't declare war on Guartenheim, and yet they can't attack either, even though they can be attacked. Very strange. Okay, 254 gold pieces. I would like to actually no, they do have another elite, so I will wait to get the extra 50 gold pieces to buy the elite next turn. Over to the Tribal League, and again, nothing much happening there. Okay, scrolling out. I have moved all my ships this time for a change, and that's all I need to do, so I'm going to end the turn at that point. And prepares for war. Right, they should be able to attack fairly soon. Mittelheim joins the war on the adversary side, as does Andania. And Transmorodonia is also moving towards war, which is going to be trouble for the Mul'Kan. Okay, the throne has been moved back to Watersbend. Not physically, it's actually still there, but the person who sits on it can now get to it. Alright, so now we have still got a bonus of 171 gold pieces. Yeah, it's okay. Now let's see what the reply is from the adversaries. Okay, it looks like Guartenheim might be retreating. Courland comes under sustained attack from the Vikings of Mittelheim. That won't last another turn. Okay, Draco is in action again. Ooh, lost 3 points. That's going to hurt. Now, can they retake Watersbend? Ooh. Giants didn't do very well there, and it looks like no, they can't retake the city. Right, okay, so we lost our veterans, our noble veterans, but we also gained Angford as an ally. Mul'Kan has joined the alliance as well. A few other mobilizations, and this one down the bottom here, Gelling Mines, that's Mittelheim's mining complex around the town of Gelling. It's a lawless place, and it requires 2 garrisons down there to get the production going. Obviously, they've sent 2 garrisons there. Okay, now we have an offer, or a decision I should say, to make about a trade route between Mul'Kan and the Ancients. So basically this trade route will give gold pieces to the Ancients from Mul'Kan, as convoys do. Of course, they can be interdicted by the opposing side, but it might be useful. Now, in this case, 10% of Mul'Kan's production to the Ancients. I think Mul'Kan needs its production at this stage, so I'm going to say no, but it could be useful at other times. We have some veterans that have been produced for the Ancients, and I will put them I feel this is where the attack might come, because we've got a veteran unit sitting just on the horizon there. Got some elites for Mul'Kan. This is good. Now that they've joined the alliance, they will be able to attack the Guartenheim units. And we have another elite unit, the King's Guard, for the Tribal League. And I'll put them here so that they can participate in the attack on Xantu when it comes. Right, back over to Agnord. Oh, it's raining. Okay, well, that means that our attack would be significantly compromised by the conditions, so I think it's time to increase our levels of strength rather than to actually attack. I'm going to move these guys up into an attacking position. No, not there. Let's put him down here. You can go in there. And going to give Crystalis her new suit of armour that the armourers of Guildford have prepared for her. Thank you very much, kind sirs. And I'm going to increase these guys' strength, but they're not going to last anyway. It's just to slow down the Vikings just a little bit. That's it for them. Over to Angford. Now we can start to, even so, from the next few turns, especially when we get over here, when Moradon comes on board, that will provide a lot more points. Also, from this turn, the convoys that go through to Angford will start producing gold pieces for them as well. So they will actually start being able to increase their forces. The Ancients, 184 gold pieces. Let's see, I'll just move into position. I don't anticipate actually being able to do much other than wait and see and respond to what the Golden Khanate does. I find that the Ancients, even though at times, if the Golden Khanate comes through here too hard, the Ancients can in fact counterattack and reclaim quite a decent chunk of territory. I find that generally speaking, they are reactionary rather than attacking. Now I will increase them a little bit. These guys can down here, nothing else there. I'm going to put these guys up to 11 points just because I can. Just going to amp it up to 11. Now if we go up here, hang on, let's go straight into action here against these guys and their convoy route. To raider mode. I'll put them there just in case they send down some sort of scouts to see what's going on in the ocean down there. Alright, do I need to do anything more? I think that's about it. No, of course not. I've got to do Mul'Kan. Yeah, see, well, they can do a bit of damage against these goblins here. Assume they're goblins. Let's hit them. Just give them something to think about. Don't come back. Even the light cavalry's getting into the action. Not going to attack the Death Guard because that would be crazy. And I reckon this garrison here can finish them off. Yep, there we go. So thanks for coming, but don't come again. As for our troops here, we can do some damage to them through the hills here. Oh, that's not nice. Okay. That's about as good as we're going to get, I think, at this stage. Force them. How many gold pieces? 419, okay. And I'm going to purchase their last elite unit. I am going to put the best armor on them. And now over to the Tribal League, which I was looking at before. Have a look at these notes that are on the map too. You'll see them around the place. So this one here tells me that this mine here, or these 3 mine hexes here, start production when the Tribal League reaches 80% mobilisation, and at the moment they're sitting on 79, so they'll start next turn. This one here, the mine will start at 70% mobilisation, and only if the Tribal League decides that they want to actually start that mine, or whether they want to start a convoy route. Alright. And that is that for that turn. Let's see if there's anything happens at the end of the turn. Ooh. My king, your enemy, Lord Toran of Angthrong Castle, has offered an alliance. This is an unexpected opportunity. His death thrall of undead warriors could be a great boon to our army, but it will cause fear in the population if we accept them. Will you accept the offer of an alliance with Angthrong and a reduction in national morale, or not? Okay, now the note tells us that King Amist of Angford and Toran have a history of animosity towards each other. So for Toran to come to the king and to offer his troops is completely unexpected. Now I'll just show you on the map where they are. So here is Castile, where the capital of Angford and King Amist are, King Amist being this leader here. Castle Angthrong is up here, and in this castle the necromancer Toran has been raising an undead army. Now he's offering that army to Castile. So of course that's going to concern the people who are not particularly fond of undead, but it also gives a useful unit to Angford. Alright, so going back to the notes again, if you say yes, an undead unit and a leader, Toran, will arrive at Angthrong at your command. Angford will suffer a once only 1,000-point reduction in its national morale. If Angthrong units come within 2 hexes of Huntington, they suffer radiant damage from its spiritual guardians. Angthrong may offer its services to Draka instead if you say no. Alright, let's go back to the map again. This blue hatching here indicates the radius around Huntington at which this undead unit will be affected and lose strength if it comes within that area. So Huntington is a cathedral city. It is a spiritual place, a sacred place, and the good forces that are there don't like undead. So they attack them with whatever means they can, and the undead suffer for it. Which is not a problem as long as you keep your undead unit outside that blue hatching there, unless it's a complete catastrophe and you need them to do that to maybe defend Huntington. That would be ironic. Okay, I'm going to say yes to that after all that. Angford morale is affected by the alliance, so it loses 1,000 points. Transmauritania has joined the adversaries. Angthrong prepares for war, so they'll come online next turn. Now this is the thing I was talking about with the mines in the Tribal League. Viewing the map again. So there's these mines here. If you open the mines up, you'll get well, let's have a look. That chief, whose name I can't even say, presents you with 2 proposals to increase the production of the Tribal League. Open the mines or the trade route. Generally speaking, the mines are the more regular source of income. The trade route can give you more, but it's not as reliable. So that's basically what it tells you. It's going to cost 50 gold pieces for 2 turns to open up the mines, and that will which will start production in November, which is about 2 months from now. And the option to say no would open up a trade route that gives you a 50% chance of 75 gold pieces each turn. And I will say yes to that. Keeland has joined Andania, Keeland being the northern region of the Andanian continent. Thwedan is sympathetic to Mul'Kan. Thwedan's down here somewhere. And Moradon has moved. It's concerned by East Moradonia's mobilisation. and the Hortensia mines, these things here, sorry, these ones here, have started production. Land warfare moves quite a bit, about 25 points. Charge movement, 24 points. That's a nice one for Mul'Kan to get. And you can see that Angford is getting more coin now. Once this gifting to Angnord finishes, they will get an extra 50 gold pieces too. So they're getting 42 from their trade routes at the moment. Well, this video has gone on for nearly an hour, and I'm hoping to finish it this turn with the retaking of Watersbend. Let's have a look at the replay. Oh, okay, so Guartenheim has seen a weakness where the forts, the western forts are, and they sent a giant down to take them. That is a problem, depending on how many units they've got down there. Alright, Courland will fall for sure. Very brave defenders. Hopefully the Vikings will treat them well. He says hopefully. Okay, lost a militia. They continue to bomb the port, which means that that trade route can't get anything through, and Courland falls, as does the Gamilla fort. Now Mul'Kan has increased its production in the south near Bashirabad, so it's opened up a number of mines to help with financing the war effort. And we have interdicted 5 gold pieces worth of trade to Andania. Okay, let's start up here around Watersbend. I believe we should be able to take it. Let's just have a look and make sure that we've got our units properly allocated to leaders. Looks pretty good to me. Now, I don't want to run into anything that I can't see. So I'll get the 25% bonus for being in position. What am I trying to say? Being adjacent to the unit at the start of the turn. Oh, terrible. Okay, well, there you go. That's not good. Let's send in these guys and see if they can do a bit better. Not much. But hopefully enough. We'll send in Crystallites Elite. These are Princess Crystallis's elite troops. Okay, good enough. 1, 2... Alright, that's interesting. Can just take the town. And will I attack? Giants just there? No, I don't think I will. I will move these ones around. It seems to be a little bit difficult terrain up there. Good enough. Alright, so Watersbend has been taken. 271 gold pieces. I think I will purchase. Oh look, I mean it's a good deal. 60% off, or 40% off, and I will get the these veterans with the best armor and weapons available for them in a little while. Going over to Angford, I'll continue to improve their units, because I want to be able to attack through here while attacking from the east as well, and try to eventually take Morbright and finish off the Dreadworm. When I say finish him off, he's not going to be killed, but his power is going to be taken and he will be out of the game. There's not much else I need to do here. Here is the force of Angthrong, Lord Toran, and his undead army. They come in useful for actually, once Ymirian Vale, the real lair of the Dreadworm is taken, that needs to be garrisoned, and they're quite handy for garrisoning that. And you keep it out of the way, and the general population just forgets all about them unless they go up there to be haunted. So 54 gold pieces left. I'm going to put that into Amherst himself. Perhaps he's rousing himself from bed, thinking it might be time to actually start leading the army and getting out and doing something. Down to the ancients. Well, they're going to go out, definitely. Whoops. And do a bit of trade route breaking. So I'll full sail them out there. These guys continue to defend. How many points? 338. Well, have I got any elites left? Yes, I have. So I'll get an elite unit as well for that. Go across to Mul'Kan. Continue to move up here as quickly as possible, because now we've got a threat here. This is a break in the line. It's not good. So let's give these knights some armor, and I'm not going to attack, I don't think, as much as I'd like to. I'm going to reinforce all of these guys. Full strength, that's nice. And even though they're only a militia, let's send them to try and hold off these giants and humanoids that are coming through this gap in the fortification lines here. 156, we'll keep that. 268, something to purchase. I could get some veterans, and I think I've got enough there to actually take out Xantu, and I'd like to sort of get a bit of a insurance policy happening here, buy another one, and that I think is that. Actually, where did that ship get to? There it is. Like I said, I quite often forget them. And that will do for the turn. Okay, so a decision for Angnord to hold a festival and get morale up, or send the troops home. Now, it might seem counterintuitive, but I think mathematically it's actually better to send the troops home. You lose points, and this is the whole issue with this decision, because they will lose points. Let's go across, look at the map first. Alright, so there's the map there. And what happens is all of the Angnord units lose strength as their soldiers go back to till the fields and look after their farms and all that sort of stuff that they're griping about. And if they do that right now, it could be a bit of a problem, because they're right in the middle of a campaign. So you could hold the festival, gives you 1,000 national morale points for 50 gold pieces essentially, or you can release the troops. Now that will give you 100 gold pieces for 4 turns, but all of those Angnord units will suffer 1 to 3 points of damage. Now, because of the situation that they are in, right in the middle of a campaign, I'm actually going to hold a festival and just get morale up a little bit, because I don't want them to lose points. Those giants that are there could counterattack at any minute. So, hold a festival it is. Festival's held. Mul'Kan gets charged. Very nice. Very nice. Means all of their cavalry can now attack twice. Alright, now you can see that the production is going up. We're up to 201 here. Angford even is up to 81. Ancients and Mul'Kan are doing quite well. And Tribal League is still languishing, but it'll only languish for a little while until these mines fully start producing. Okay, that's where we're going to leave it for now. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry about my scratchy voice too, and hopefully I'll see you a bit later.